Hi, everyone. This is EstaRa with a brief message for you today. It is Tuesday, December 20th, 2016, and I wanted to just quickly come on here with a couple bits of information. So tomorrow is the solstice. Oh my God, the energy, I feel it building. I'm actually kind of emotional about it. So it's been a rough weekend for many people. I've heard from some people telling me they've had problems with their twin. They've had interaction with their twin. I myself had an interaction with my twin that didn't necessarily go the way that I wanted it to, but at the same time, there was a sense of lightness and relief for myself afterwards. And I was kind of pushed into being my true self with him and not just kind of let him get away with things. I had to say things that needed to be said, which I had a tough time doing, felt emotional afterwards. Didn't get the response from him that I would prefer, I guess is what I would like to say. But I feel like he took it in and he's feeling it, and he heard me. He listened. He actually listened differently than he had in the past. And the last couple of days, I've seen the result of that. I feel energy just shifted. And by the way, his father, who had passed, had just come to me just now, right before I was recording this. And he said to me, he's hurting and he needs to know you still love him and care about him. So what's interesting about that little message I'm sharing with you is my guidance is to speak my truth, right? So that's how I've been pretty much my entire life, all the way until I met him. And when I met him, I was speaking my truth. And then there came a point where I was almost afraid to lose him. So I didn't want to speak my truth. So I started to be quiet and not share everything with him. And so throughout the last few years, I've been gaining that strength back to speak my truth, empower myself, and really come forward and speak it. So when I did that, he interprets that as being, his perception is that like it's not like it's directly to hurt him, even though it's really not. And the way I present it, anybody else who's not in that place of feeling bad about themselves or on defense wouldn't take what I'm saying as anything other than love, because I present everything to him through love, and it's definitely coming from a place of love and also from my truth, and he didn't perceive it that way. So it's kind of hurting him. So while that's all true and he's in a emotional place about it, I felt lighter. I felt good because I was being me, my authentic self. And one of the things that was really difficult for me with our conversation, and I'm not going to tell you the details because it's really not necessary, but the one thing that really made me uncomfortable is he's uncomfortable with what I do for a living. Now, here's the funny thing. He doesn't really know what I do for a living. He said that he feels it's weird that I talk to dead people. And I'm like, that is just like a small, minute piece of my job and my business. It's not my truth. It's not my my day-to-day reality. I actually do other things. I help people find who they are, give them courage to speak their truth and empower them. And, whatever else I do, I kind of shared like the variety of things that I do in my job. And he doesn't really know it. And God, I wanted to say, I do the twin flame work. But then I thought, oh boy, after I said, after I told him how, reminded him that he's my twin flame, he was like uncomfortable with that and uncomfortable with some of the things that I said. And I didn't realize that was an issue for him. And that makes me sad because what I do is who I am. It's not like I am not trying to be this person. This is who I am every day. I am always in a healing energy. I'm always trying to make myself better. I'm always evolving. And my job is to be of service to humanity and to all the people I work with and to all of you. And yet that is kind of who I am. Like I can't separate those two things, that being psychic and being intuitive, that is who I am. And it's not a job for me. It's my being. It's just my being, my presence. That's who I am all the time. And I feel like it was really hard. I was kind of emotional about it because I can't change that. And the thing is, I would do anything for this man. I love him beyond everything. And I would do anything and everything. The one thing I won't do is stop being who I am. And that's really interesting feeling that I had. And so I'm not upset about what I said. I'm not upset about what I do because that is who I am. So that was just really interesting information I wanted to share with you because it didn't hit me until I started talking to a couple friends, and they're like, yeah, he's struggling with that, like trying to fit you into the world he's currently living in. And he doesn't realize that you don't need to fit into like this world he's living in, because the world he's living in isn't necessarily healthy for him either. And so he needs to see the bigger picture of you are part of his new world. Like you're the new world for him. And that's the jump, And I was like, wow, I didn't even think about that. So that was a really interesting weekend conversation I had with him. So I had a little bit of an emotional day yesterday. I feel better, but I actually felt okay. So, here's the interesting thing. I was a little emotional on Sunday night because we had the conversation Sunday. And then on Monday morning, I was a little emotional and recognized it wasn't me, it was him. Because I had this feeling of relief and that I spoke my truth and I feel good, And I also felt like the more confidence that we're going to be together, even though that was not the words we had. And it was in our ending and result was anything but, yes, we're going to be together. Yes, he's coming. But that's what I felt. So I got to go with what I feel inside, right? So that's where I'm holding on to that. And so I'm bringing this message to you because I feel like that is something all of you need to know too, is all the messiness that's been happening externally. That is part of like the clearing up process. That's part of the releasing process. That's part of the letting go process, part of the surrender. But trust and surrender to your heart, because it really does know the truth. And I'm saying this, and I wish that my beloved would do that, because his heart is so filled with love, and it's more beautiful than I've ever seen, because his truth is right there. It's like right there, and he just needs to express it. And once he does, I think it'll open up to other things. But that's for all of us. Our truth is so overpowering us these days. It's coming in, and it's really breaking past barriers and walls, like forcing us to be who we are in every given moment. And we are being an instrument of love by being in our heart and being in our love. And that is why we're here as twin flames. That is why we're here. So going there deep inside is this most important thing for each of us to do every day. Go into the heart and be in your truth. And as scary and as difficult as it may be for your beloved to receive from you what you know to be true, it's so important that you maintain that truth inside of you and not let it go. And it'll be easy to fall back into old patterns, but we're not meant to. And the funny, weird thing is, when I started my conversation with my beloved, I was feeling this tension between us. And I wasn't, consciously, I want to hurt him, but I was feeling this anger of I need to be me. I need to be true. And we were falling into the old pattern. And something shifted inside of me. I was like, no more old pattern. I said, can I be honest with you? And he was like, no, in his joking way. He's very cute, by the way. And I said, well, I'm going to be honest anyway. And the beginning of my conversation, real part of the conversation, we had another one. We talked for a long time. The beginning was, I feel sad. And the next part was, I feel scared. And he said, why are you scared? And then I started to share my truth with him. And so it was me pouring out my heart to him. He had a really difficult time being in this with me. And he had a really difficult time in speaking. He was quiet. But that's because I feel like everything's right there. It's right there. It's just not pushed over yet. It's not overflowing yet, not ready to be expressed. Well, it's ready to be expressed, but he's not. On his head level, it's not quite there yet. So it's a really powerful time. And the message I got, so 1212 was an amazing gateway, but the message I got earlier in the month was 1221 is more important, the solstice energy and the gate of the solstice, because it is a time where there's a massive infusion of light coming down. There's a massive awakening to the twin flames. So remember how this year was all about awakening of twins? Well, let me tell you, it is here. There is no stopping it. There's no reason to fear. It is we are here on the cusp of true transition, true love, and true union. We are on the cusp of it. And this solstice is it's almost like a final push of birthing, if you will. And I don't even know what that means, because the conversation I had the other day wouldn't make any sense with what I'm feeling. But what I'm feeling is this. And I'm sharing that with you because I feel please, if you're having a difficult time, really emotional, and I know because I've been the last couple days. So if you're feeling that, do what you know to stay in your high frequency, do what you know to be in love, and surround yourself with people who are loving you, loving the earth, loving to themselves. And be sure to be in your truth always and feel it in your heart. Know it's there. Know that you are love and that you are exactly where you're meant to be on this journey. The other thing I want to share with you about that is we are so ready for a change, and we are going to receive that change. I am getting that the 21st is a huge transition energy, and that we will start to see that taking place a few days later, and it's going to keep going and going and going and going forward. It's actually moving us into the new energy. So stay in the manifestation energy, stay in your heart, stay in your truth, because if you deviate from that, you're going to haphazardly create, and we don't want that. We don't want to haphazardly create. We want to create out of love. And it's been really hard. And I want to tell you, it's going to be really, really difficult to stay in that, because we're in the time of like family, right? Family gatherings and traditions, which also bring up old patterns, old behaviors, old thoughts, old belief systems. And it's like the clashing of that is possible. But if you stay in your heart and your truth, you can rise above that. And I encourage you to do that this coming week and this holiday. And I'm hoping to come back with another message for you, a reading, for example, but also another message after the solstice energy or on the solstice energy. I'm not sure yet. But I wanted to get that message out to you. I also want to offer you gifts to thank you for being part of my community, being part of my life, and supporting me and loving me in many ways. And I want to also thank you so much for the beautiful messages from my last video. You've touched my soul very deeply. I was actually not feeling good last week. I was pretty sick at the I was really sick at the beginning of the week with a massive headache, which lasted for several days. And then it turned into like a stomach thing, achy body thing. So I might have had like a little bug going on, but I could not function very well. So I apologize for not actually coming back on and messaging you like I wanted to. But I was really not feeling good. And I am grateful to all of you for everything. So I want to offer out to you a couple gifts that I offered out to my community through my email. So if you're not on my mailing list, you're welcome to join it. Just go to my website and sign up for my mailing list, and I'll be happy to place you on there. But what I want to offer to all of you today is tomorrow I am doing another energy body upgrade for the solstice, December 21st energy. I would need to have your name and your payment by 10:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is New York time. So if you can get that to me by then, that would be fabulous. And I will make sure I include you and your twin on it. There's a link inside this message for that specific energy body upgrade. But the other two gifts that I want to offer out to everybody, they're thank you gifts. I created a divine healing meditation that will help clear your energy going into the new year. And it's about 25 minutes long. And I am offering that to you at a price of $555, so $5.55. And that's because 555 signifies creating monumental change. And I really feel like we are in that time. And so that is a thank you gift to all of you. So if you're interested, that's $5.55. That's also in the link. And then another gift for all of you. I'm going to do another upgrade. My guides have been giving me for a while, but we're calling it a New Year's LIGHT Infusion. And that price, regularly I charge $25 for my upgrades. That is $11. And you can purchase that up until January 1st, 2017. And you can purchase that all the way up until the end of the day, Eastern Standard Time in New York time. So that's also in the link. So if that's something you're interested in, I'm doing that for $11. It's a Twinflame number. And that is a New Year's LIGHT Infusion. So I'm not sure exactly what was going to happen to it, but my guides are giving me very clear guidance that it is a LIGHT Infusion, not an upgrade. It's slightly different. Although it doesn't mean that clearing isn't going to happen. It doesn't mean that healing won't happen, but it does mean that you will be infused with massive amounts of light. And that will be a great way to start off the new year. I'm not sure if it's going to be performed on the 1st or the 2nd, but my guides are giving me a leaning towards the 2nd, so that the 1st can be a time for you to make sure you're getting on board for it and you're ready. And I highly recommend that no matter what you do, that you stay in love and light this holiday, and faith and trust. And I have to tell you, it's been hard. We've got a lot going on in this world right now. So there's like tons of chaos ensuing globally. And so all of us are feeling it because we are really connected, and we forget that we're so connected to one another. And boy, it's like this massive change is upon us. Massive shift is upon us, and it's happening. We're in it right now. I think we all look for one event of pointing. We look to pointing to one event of when it's changing, when it's going to happen, what's going on. But the reality is, it's not that at all. It's like, it's not one event. They've been multiple events that have been happening. And so what I'm feeling is we are in the process of massive shifting. Massive change is about to occur on this planet. And I say about to occur because we'll start to see it happening. But we are in it. We are actually in the ascension process. We are in it. We are taking part in it. We are taking action in it. Your twin is taking action in it. It's happening without us really doing much other than living and experiencing every single day. Chaos, happiness, sadness, gloom, doom, joy, bliss, whatever we're experiencing, it's happening. And for those of you that are really experiencing gloom and doom and ickiness, please look into your heart, because your heart will show you something different. Because despite what's out here in appearances, despite what's happening, what's inside of us is really our truth. And I encourage you to go back inside, because you have it all. Everything you need is there. Everything. And I feel so much love right now in a way that it makes me just happy. It makes me feel some bliss and joy. And boy, do I need that today, because I felt, a little sadness for my beloved. Last words. I thank you again. I send love and light to all of you. And I wish every one of you on your journey blessed union. And to remember, you are already in union. It is just, again, external stuff may not look like what you know and trust inside of you, but it's here. You're already in union. It's just a matter of making it show up, right? To make your reality look like what you know inside of you. Isn't that what we're all working on, right? Isn't that part of the journey? Is we already know our truth inside of us. So, look around. What does it look like? Is it there? If it's not there, then there's something inside of you that's not quite letting it happen. It's not just you stopping it. It's your twin, because you're the same energy, right? So both of you are doing it. So look inside. What do you need to do? What's next to make this happen? And I got very clear guidance about what my next steps are. So my next steps are to send him love and really be present with him. Because remember, for the last couple months, I've been priority, me. And I made me, my union, my beloved, and then everything else priority. Well, guess what? Very little went to my beloved, and very little went to really my union, because I've been spending so much time making sure I'm okay, because I've not been feeling good. And everything else kind of has gone to the wayside, hence why this video is coming out the day before the solstice, when I really wanted to put it out on Sunday or Monday. So I encourage you to look at your priorities, make sure that you're there, your union's there, and then your beloved. Make sure you're doing something to assist it, because your messages, the more you focus on you as the priority, the more the messages come clearer, the more you know what the next steps are, the more you'll understand. So I bless you all. I send you love and light, and happy solstice. Welcome the energy in, because it's coming. Light and love to you all.